Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
And I'm Burnie Scarpino.
Nintendo, this is okay.
Cereal joke.
Sup, Scarpino. Nintendo has officially confirmed that we'll be getting all the final details for Switch at a big press event in January.
Hooray! Just time for my birthday.
Yeah, well, no. But new details for the portable console are still leaking like crazy. So we're still getting the new information.
It's just not coming from Nintendo. We've now got reports about the Switch's screen size, resolution, lack of external storage support, and even a few hints from company president Tatsumi Kimishima about future capabilities for the system.
Plus, Nintendo may not be as excited about Switch as they were about Wii U even, but more on that later.
Okay, that's called a tease, folks. After speculation that Nintendo would be holding off on launch details for the Switch until sometime early next year, Nintendo sent out invites to a press event for the system dated January 12th, 2017.
Just enough time for you to get over your New Year's hangover.
That's right, and learn all about Nintendo from Nintendo. They'll announce everything that you've been reading for the last 3 months.
Yeah, the announcements kind of feel like a little underwhelming. Actually, that's one of the reasons that the stock dropped, is investors were like, yeah, that's what was speculated. Like, how's that Nintendo's fault?
Because it was already baked into the price. According to their press release about the event, this will be when they release information regarding the launch date and pricing for Nintendo Switch, as well as a look at its lineup of games.
Yeah, Nintendo also indicates in their announcement that they'll be allowing gamers to get hands-on events and demos of the Switch at around the same time, meaning that we're basically going to go from nothing to a flood of information after many, many, many long months of drought.
A flood of information from Nintendo themselves, proper.
Well, yeah.
Considering how Nintendo's been keen to play the waiting game on Switch so far, it's sort of surprising they sent these invites out so early. Although the company did just post some abysmal financial results for the last quarter, losing $50 million and lowering their forecast for Q4.
Ouch.
So they probably wanted to wash that taste out of everyone's mouth by getting them hyped about Switch.
Despite the company's insistence that we'll get no new details about Switch until then, new details are still leaking about the system every day.
Awesome. Thanks, Internet.
If you can't get a flood from Nintendo, get it elsewhere.
For starters, Eurogamer released a brand new leak today, confirmed by some of the same sources that helped them break this summer's first substantial look at Switch. According to Eurogamer, the Switch handheld is 6.2 inches in size, 720p, and for the first time in any Nintendo device, boasts a capacitive multi-touch screen. Both 3DS and Wii U featured resistive touchscreens, relying on pressure and less precise. They were also single touch only.
That screen size wouldn't be too surprising, as it's exactly what's been rumored in the past. Back in August, 6.2 inches, 720p, and multi-touch capabilities were all reported in a series of protected tweets by Nintendo insider Emily Rogers. The screen size was also mentioned back in June in a DigiTimes report from a source connected to the Switch supply chain. So, looking good for that one.
This is like the leakiest ship ever.
It really is. I don't even know how they're still afloat.
That 6.2 inch screen would also make it the same size as the Wii U gamepad screen, although 720p would be a pretty big upgrade in terms of resolution.
Especially when you look at like the handheld.
Well, currently the Wii U gamepad runs at a resolution of 854 by 480. That's a very
real specific
standard resolution.
Yeah, but the 3DS is like 240 by 800.
We're just making stuff up at this point.
So tiny. Eurogamer's report also confirms other reports about Nintendo Switch from last week, when Laura Dale of Let's Play Video Games broke the news that it will also feature motion controls by way of an IR sensor located in the bottom of one of the detachable Joy-Con controllers.
Already lost.
The other half of the sensor will be on the handheld itself, which will basically turn the handheld into a Wii sensor bar when docked in home console mode.
I know what you mean by flood of information. I feel like I have too much information about this thing now. I just want to play a game on it. It's still a little curious that Nintendo chose not to make this info a part of their original trailer for Switch, but it really does seem like their primary brand message is that this is a portable console, and they didn't want to distract from that at all, even if it meant listing more cool features for the system.
Yeah, they're probably keeping
Probably
it
a
simple
smart move
for now.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it not confusing, because that was one of the big issues with Wii U, is all the mainstream consumers who just thought it was an add-on to the Wii. They're like, this is a thing! Very simple. The brand message is so important to Nintendo this time around that they're even keeping certain features off the board altogether. Let's Play Video Games has released another new report today, yes, another one, claiming that Switch's USB ports won't be for allowing external hard drive storage. So, say goodbye to the idea of storing multiple games on a separate hard drive at home.
According to the report, quote, Nintendo's concern internally is that allowing consumers to attach large external drives to the dock will cause players to see the system as less inherently portable. harming their core branding for the system as a portable home console.
Fortunately, another bit of reporting, also from Let's Play Video Games, claims that you'll be able to use micro SD cards of up to 128 gigabytes with the Switch, so that should help to alleviate some of those concerns. It's kind of what we've been doing with the 3DS for years anyway. Still, managing a variety of micro SD cards could get a little worrisome once your game library starts stacking up.
And at this point, we really don't know what you're going to be storing on these cards, like how big are those files. So, limiting their own system because of potential brand confusion may seem a little crazy on the surface, but keep in mind that brand confusion is exactly what led to the Wii U's downfall.
Yeah.
It certainly makes sense that Nintendo is keeping that reined in much more tightly this time around.
And that caution is even extending to their projections for Switch units at launch. Based on new projections from President Tatsumi Kimishima, Nintendo is expecting to ship around 2 million systems by the end of March 2017. That would actually be about 1 million less units than the Wii U shipped during its launch. So
wow.
They kind of expected to do worse than Wii U for some reason.
Probably trying to set expectations low. That might be a good idea. Although, Nintendo does have a history of not having enough hardware. The Wii was the best example of that, where people went 6 months not being able to get the core system itself. All that means is that Nintendo is erring on the side of caution with the Switch. However, that's not stopping them from having big plans for the new portable console hybrid later on down the line.
In his first interview after Switch's announcement, Kimishima shared a few teases with Bloomberg about what could be in store for Switch's future. In particular, he stressed that Switch is actually the first part of a brand new ecosystem for Nintendo, full of upgrades and add-ons.
About the potential...
Which will all probably be very reasonably priced.
I'm sure they will be. About the potential of Switch's upgrades, Kimishima said, quote, "It may be appropriate to call them accessories, or it might be better to call them add-on hardware. It's probably more correct to call them accessories. You can assume that there will be a wider array."
Wheels for everyone.
Get them all.
This wider array of accessories could be a hint towards Nintendo's other patents, some of which we covered last week. One of them would allow for a controller accessory to project in-game items onto your hand and even potentially recognize gestures.
Well, that's cool.
So you just like do this above your Joy-Con.
What do you do?
Just do this above your Joy-Con.
That's a gift. But one of the more interesting add-ons Kimishima hinted at was the possibility of VR, which Nintendo has not ruled out yet, especially if they can find something that works for their software.
Now, there were other rumors back in June that Nintendo was potentially even delaying the Switch to incorporate VR, but that doesn't seem to have had much weight to it. However, Miyamoto did tell shareholders following E3 that Nintendo has been researching VR, but the reason they hadn't committed to it yet was playtime. They want to make sure it's safe for kids, or anyone for that matter, to play for longer periods of time.
Always a problem with motion gaming, has been since it came around. So it seems like Switch one day might be able to join the VR party, but of course, we'll have to wait to see if that kind of announcement is coming when Nintendo officially unveils the rest of the Switch in January of 2017, assuming there's anything left to reveal by then.
Nope, we revealed it all. What do you guys think of all the new Switch details we've heard this week? Are you still pumped for the next event in January? Let us know in the comments.
You start calling them confirmation events. For future updates from the world of Nintendo, like this video and subscribe to The Know. We'll have add-on peripherals any day now.
Peripherals.
I can say it. I
You wanna-
almost got the joke out.
Would you want a peripheral?